Hello guys! A lot of us that suffer from depression and anxiety also suffer from insomnia. These two issues come hand in hand. Today, here at the lab, I'm going to tell you how to tackle this problem. As some of you might know, last year I had a horrible mental breakdown, which started with huge anxiety and also with this insane energy that I had throughout the day, which ultimately led me to have suicidal thoughts, serious ones. Well, a good thing about the energy that I had was that I was able to do tons of research about my problem and how to solve it. Of course, if you're having a serious mental breakdown, mood disorder, depression, etc., you should first see a psychologist and maybe a psychiatrist, because maybe you also need to go on medication, which I also did. This being said, insomnia can be a problem that can come during a serious time of mental illness, but also throughout a whole life of someone who suffers, for example, from general anxiety or, slight depressive state. I have learned some techniques from this thing called CBT-I. And CBT is Cognitive Behavioural Therapy, which is basically the basis for most therapies that we use nowadays. And the I is for insomnia. I will put in the link below for a course that I did online with this famous researcher, so it's not a bullshit. And they explained several techniques that I can already explain a bit to you as well. So the first technique that we can use is only use the bedroom for sleep or sex. This is because of something called conditioning. Some of you might have heard about Pavlov and Pavlov's dog. If you haven't, look it up. And it all has to do with the fact that we associate certain things, certain places, certain activities with certain mental states. In this case, if we spend too much time, for example, in our bedroom, reading in bed or watching movies in bed or even exercising in your bedroom, that can mean that your brain will associate the bedroom with the state of being awake, with the state of being alert. And that's not what we want to do. We want to make your bedroom a place of peace, of serenity, and ideally of sleep. So the bedroom should only be for sleep and inevitably for sex. The second thing that you can already start doing is don't use screens, bright screens, at least 2 hours before bed. If you have to, you can use this really cool app called F-Lux that inhibits the blue light. The blue light inhibits the melatonin, which is the sleep hormone, which is produced at night. In the same train of thought, you want to suppress the melatonin in the morning. And you should do this by going outside for at least 20 minutes every morning. I know it's annoying, but you can get used to it, because the sunlight sends signal to your brain to say that, oh, I'm awake now. And if you're awake, the more awake you are early, the more sleepy you'll be at night. It's okay if it's raining. I mean, it's not okay. It's always unpleasant to be outside if it's raining, but it's still okay in terms of the light, because the light will still be strong enough. The other thing that you can do is establish a routine before bed. So dim the lights. We already established that strong lights are in the morning, dim lights are at night. Make it cozy. I know this is not very orthodox, but I like to watch a stupid series because it's basically numbs my brain out and it won't make it think too much. If I read something really deep right before going to bed, my brain will still be working, and yes, my brain works. and I will be more alert. So series, I like to have a little snack, maybe something warm, like a warm cup of soy milk with tea, tea not with caffeine, the tisane, and what else? Yeah, and I also meditate, and meditation makes you more relaxed and less stressed, so it's a great thing to do before bed. It's good. Don't stay in bed for more than 20 minutes if you cannot sleep. This has to do with the conditioning. If you go to bed and you cannot sleep and you're going to stress yourself for hours and hours and hours in your bed, guess what happens? Yes, I told you before, the brain is going to associate the bed with stress and awakeness. So you want to spend as little time in bed as possible. You also want to try to wake up at the same time every day, or sort of at the same time. Why? Because a lot of us tend to compensate. So a lot of us tend to think, oh, okay, I didn't sleep that much the previous night, so today I have to sleep more in the morning. This is totally false, because this will dysregulate your circadian rhythm. So the rhythm that goes more awake in the morning, less awake at night. This should be a regular rhythm. And the thing is, and what you'll see in this course maybe also, but it's also already important to say, is that 5 hours and a half is the minimum time that your brain needs to regenerate itself. Your brain will therefore look for those 5 hours and a half. If you sleep 4 hours tonight or 3 hours, it's okay, because the next night your brain will want to catch up on that time. Inevitably. It's okay even if you don't sleep one night, it's totally fine. You'll still have your cognitive functions during the day. There's this myth going on that everyone needs 8 hours. This is false. The most recent research suggests that people need between 6 and 7 hours. This being said, if you are really in the middle of a crisis and you passed 3 days without sleeping, by all means, run to the emergency room and ask them for the strongest shit that they have, because you don't want to spend 3 days without sleeping. That's also not normal. The other thing that's really important, and a lot of us don't do, is only go to bed when tired. We tend to think, yes, so now is my bedtime, now I have to go to bed because I have to get these hours, and this makes us like really, really stressed, because then of course we're going to bed and we're not going to be prepared to go to sleep, and then we're going to stress, and then we're going to be awake in bed, etc., etc., etc. Trust your body. Go to bed when you're tired, really exhausted. That will make you less frustrated, that will make you less stressed, and that will make you sleep more. The objective is to sleep more in a row. So it's better to sleep 4 hours or 5 hours in a row than to sleep 8 hours horribly, like you taking 1 hour to fall asleep and then waking up, and this is not good for your body. This is the opposite that what we want. Don't compensate during the day with naps, because this would also fuck up your cycle. You want to spend as many hours awake as you can throughout the day, so you will be sleepy and tired at night. You want to create this rhythm and keep it going. In the long run, these techniques, they really do help a lot. Of course, as I said, if this is not enough, then you will need to go to therapy and you will need maybe medication. Because it's important. It's important that you're well, and sleep is important. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact me, and I wish you happy healings. Bye.